Gabrielle Carolina from the Mod Podge Bookshelf. We're going to be talking about my favorite Debs. They all came prepared with their frills, their lace, their round hoop skirts, and their parasols. However, these 15 are the ones that stood out to me as something quite extraordinary and worthy of note in this vlog. It goes without saying that there were plenty of Debs I did not get around to that I'm sure will be on next year's list of my favorites. First of all, we have Divergent, which I've talked about a lot. It won the Goodreads Choice Award this year. The whole thing. It went to a YA book. I think that's fantastic. Go Veronica, proving that 1, young authors rule, and 2, YA is the coolest thing to hit bookshelves ever. One I'm surprised I haven't been talking about more, and I kind of regret isn't in my top 10, but you know, you can only pick 10 books. Wither by Lauren DeStefano. This is a fantastic book. I just really liked it a lot, and the cover's pretty too. I loved the characters. I loved how many characters there were. I loved how different they were. I loved that you kind of felt sorry for the person you were supposed to hate a little bit, which was rather fantastic. And I loved that Ryan wasn't quite sure that her choices were the right ones, and I thought that was really poignant and intriguing. Fever. I'm about to break into a fever. Every time I even hear fever, you know what I want to sing? Never knew how much I love you. I never knew how much I cared. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever and it's hard to bear. You give me fever when you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, a fever all through the night. Everybody's got the fever by Lauren DeStefano. Fever isn't such a new thing. Fever started long ago. Fever. Another one I've talked a lot about because A, it's fantastic, and 2, it's Stephanie Dre, who is wonderful, and C, rocks. I just feel like Celine's a really good friend of mine. I don't know why. I know why. It's so well written. I just feel a deep connection to her. So enjoyed editing her second novel. Have I talked to you guys about that I had a hand in that cookie jar? Because I so did. It says so in the acknowledgments. There's a sentence dedicated to me. A whole one. A whole sentence. And I get an adjective that describes me. Here's another, like Wither, that I'm really surprised I haven't been talking more about. And it's the same book, it's just different covers. The Ark is in front, which is my personal fave. And then here's the finished copy. This is one of my favorite actual hardbacks. Ow, I kind of broke a nail there. She's a debut author, so I'm allowed to say that I'm a little surprised Kat Patrick pulled it off so well. The whole idea of the story, that it was a contemporary that had these elements that kind of chaotically, I won't say randomly, I'll say chaotically sprung up and then like wove themselves into the story. Kat Patrick made a fan out of this girl. She's cat-nominal. She's cat-tastic. So I became a cat-tastic fangirl. Another one you guys have heard me talk a lot about, and I'm sure the whole blogosphere is buzzing, because it's been buzzing, is Waterfall by Lisa Berggren. Historical fiction, it's clean, it's romantic, it's cool. Can cool be one of the words I use? Ooh, I can so see a blurb now. Gabrielle Carolina from Mod Podge Bookshelf says it's cool. It's really cool. I like this book quite the bit. I feel weird that I haven't been talking more about this book, but I will tell you why. I was a fan of Mara Dyer before Mara Dyer was even out. I read the synopsis for this book probably a little more than a year ago, and literally sat back in my chair and went, whoa. There was something about it. I absolutely understand why it's a huge deal. I was a hype girl. I was one of the people that made the hype. I have to reread it. And I need a finished copy. Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I read this one very recently. I just broke something. That's like one of the number one things I say in vlogs. I'm like, books, books, books. I broke something. Ow, I bashed myself. Books, books, books. My review isn't up yet. It's not going to be up for a while. It made the list, so obviously I think it's pretty fantastic. What it says it's going to be is nothing like what it is. It is not a love story. I mean, there's a love story in it, but it's not a romance. It's not really built around that crux. It's not told the way you think it's going to be. It's hard to remember where you are and at what time and what place. You're like, I have no idea what I just read, but it was fantastic. It was unique. Speaking of books that are unique and fantastic, let's talk about Shatter Me by Tahahara Mafi. Shatter Me is told in a completely different way than any book you've ever. You guys have seen them, the little slash throughs, and that's wonderful. So is Adam. Yummy. Skyship Academy, The Pearl Wars by Nick James. It's sci-fi. Very, very good. It was very, very good. I'm not saying anything bad about it at all. It just took me by such utter surprise that I would like it as much as I did. I met Nick at BEA, which he actually remembers, so I'm a little afraid of what I did. I'm afraid that memorable in this instance was not a good thing. I can't guarantee if I hadn't been part of that blog tour I would have read it, but I think that would have been a mistake. Sorry, Nick, this is really insulting that I'm like, wow, I'm shocked. I guess I can say that. Again, it's debut authors, right? But yeah, he made a believer out of me. And now I can't wait to see what comes next. Starcrossed. I bet y'all are seeing, ooh, we match. I could totally be Helen. I could sink some ships. Twilight, Greekified, but very good. It's exciting for me that I'm like, dude, I've read 300 pages and didn't even notice that they like flew by, and then you're at the end and you're like, wow! So that's great. So definitely had to make the list. Hourglass by Myra McIntyre. I love this book. It starts with a Scarlet reference. Can't go wrong when it starts with a Scarlet reference. It's got time travel and Doctor Who references, which I know a lot of you like. I haven't seen Doctor Who. Please don't kill me. I can so in the future, because I like nerdy boys, see falling in love with someone who loves Doctor Who. The rest of our lives is dedicated to sit on the couch, watch Doctor Who with me. Things and stuff, and it has a boy who's willing to distract you. A big Team Caleb girl. Not that I want Emerson to end up with him. I want him. Yeah, Hourglass. Fantastic. Cover's fantastic. I even have my poster. See, there's my poster up there. Oh, it just got panoramicified. Is that a word? I'm making it a word. Angel Burn by L.A. Weatherly. I met the author at BEA and got my copy signed, and she asked me, have you actually had the chance to read it? And I was like, no, I haven't. And I don't know, something about her asking me that, it made me feel like really guilty. I don't know why. I don't know why that made me feel guilty, because of course it had like just come out and we're not British, so I hadn't gotten the chance to read it. I read it out of guilt. Really good. So totally bizarre. This book is strange. It's about angels, but they're not really angels. They're more like vampire alien demons, and they are sucking the life out of you, and you're enjoying it, bashing religion in general, but I don't know, it was just so entertaining. I didn't try and think that deep about it. I was just like, surface level entertainment quality. I love the couple. I believed in their romance. There's 2 more books to come, and I'm really excited for them. So all those things end up on the list. Exposed by Kimberly Marcus. This is actually told in verse. I know, right? I hate things told in verse. If it's told in verse, I don't want to read it. Something about Exposed really did tell a story. And I was completely... I mean, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about how shocked I am I liked it. Like verse novels, I feel like you're really going to like this since I don't like verse novels and I think it's great. Across the Universe by Beth. Copy signed because I met Beth and she totally knew who I was. That was a fantastic moment this year. I actually met her mother. And she's like, no, what's your name? And I told her, and she's like, Beth told me you'd be here. I didn't believe her. It's like, oh, are you just being a sweetheart? And she's like, no. That's awesome. So is the book. A lot of people are like, it's not sci-fi enough. But if it were sci-fi enough, I wouldn't like it. I think it strikes a chord. I think it strikes a balance. And I have no idea, and neither does Beth, all the weird stuff she's going to do with the rest of the series. So I seriously look forward to seeing what happens. And last on this lovely list is The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. I read this book very, very much. It's a contemporary, it's about foster children and the Victorian language of flowers, called the Contemporary Acquisition of the Year. I met her at BEA, which was fabulous because I didn't even know she was going to be there, and I actually have one of the flowers on my BEA badge. Lovely. It's lovely. It really is. It definitely reads like an adult. People who like YA can like this one, just like I think people who like YA will definitely like The Night Circus. And again, this is the Mod Podge bookshelf. I, for the most part, like YA novels overall, but I also really like certain adult novels, so I wanted to share a couple of those with you as well. Congratulations to the debut authors of 2011. It's been a wonderful year in books for all of you. However, it's time to hang up your hoop skirts. Thank you to the authors of 2011 for making this year so literally spectacular.